Hello everyone, welcome to the Love and Style channel. My name is Nadia, and if you watched the previous video, which we were repurposing lace skirt, we made this bag. Since we have some fabric left, we're gonna reuse it today for smaller bag. So we are going to need some Pelan Flex Foam on both sides fusible stabilizer, which is Pelan FF79F2. We're also going to be using another Pelan fusible fleece. It's a one side. It's Pelan 987F. We're also going to use the leftover fabrics. We have a lace. There was the fabric underneath, and as in the previous video, we're going to use my old sheets, some clips. We're also going to use some ribbon. It's 1.5 inch, and I purchased this on Amazon. I think it's since we don't have that much fabric left, we're gonna make a small clutch. Okay, first I have to mention, I forgot to say that we're going to use a magnetic snap, also a little tiny one. So we're gonna cut up 2x2 two small squares, and you can interface it or with some kind of interfacing, I don't know, whatever you pick, whichever you have leftovers. I have some scraps here, so I'm gonna iron it on or cut up 2x2 same size and iron it on. So we have the fabric here almost prepared. So I cut up lace 9 inches by 19.5 inches because that's the I had a leftover. Otherwise you can make it even bigger. Actually it's gonna be small bag. You're gonna cut up same size 9 inches by 19.5. Something for lining, like I picked my old sheet. And also, like I said, you're gonna need same size 9 inches by 19.5 fusible fleece, as well as fusible stabilizer 9 inches by 19.5 inches long. What are we gonna do with the fabric underneath? Since I did the same thing in a previous video, because this fabric is a little wobbly, it's kind of hard to cut to make sure it's a perfect size. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna iron on the fusible stabilizer, and then cut the fabric according to the size. So I press this on, as well as these two little pieces for the magnetic snap. Now I have to cut it out. It's actually much easier to work with this fabric this way. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take the fabric which is underneath with the fusible fleece, turn it inside up, and we're gonna put the fusible stabilizer. It doesn't have to be fusible, you can just sew it in, but this one is actually fusible, so we can just press it on this one side like this. And then what we're gonna do, once we do this, we're gonna sew on like a 1/4 inch, like a little bit, but right by the edge. So what did we do? I press everything on, and I stitch lace fabric on the top. We're gonna leave it upside up and we're gonna put the lining fabric on the top of it, and we're gonna stitch just one side, but with 3 inches opening in the middle. Okay, so I sewn the side 1/2 inch allowance with like 3.5 inches space between, so this way we can flip it over. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna keep the lining on the top of it, top of the main fabric. Gonna pin it. And we're gonna find a middle. So just gonna flip it over. Find a middle. Let's just measure it, make sure. 4.5 and 4.5. Okay, 9 inches together. 4.5 inches in the middle. We're going to measure 2 inches from the side over here. 2 inches. Same thing on the other side. And we're gonna use some kind of round object. I'm gonna use this dish, whatever it is, and we're gonna make the edges, round edges, just kind of put together. I'm gonna use this pencil. 2 inches here, up to the middle. Same thing over here. Point on the end. Maybe it would be easier to do it on the other side, but doesn't matter. So just made like a kind of round edge. So we're gonna cut it now all around the edges. Make the brown. It's kind of hard because there's so many layers right now. Okay, so what are we gonna do next? We're gonna install the magnetic snap. So we're gonna open this up, kind of find our center, and we'll measure 2 inches from this side. We can install, we're gonna kind of mark washer on it. We're gonna center it, make marks, and we're gonna do same thing on this side, but we're gonna measure 3¼ inches, because from the opening, there's the opening right in the middle, and we're gonna make measure 3¼ inches from the edge right in the middle. So we're gonna put the washer on it again, and we are gonna mark a little bit here. Okay, so we're gonna make the opening a little bit slowly, not to make a bigger holes, because it's always easier to make a bigger from smaller one. So we're gonna check either side, doesn't matter which side is it. Okay, so I finally found those holes. I couldn't find them. To make it a little more stable, I'm gonna put previously pre-cut little squares, so you can just make little marks in the middle between, just to make sure you know where the openings goes. Just open it up a little bit. Okay, not like me, it was too much, but it's okay. Okay, we put the washer on it, and we find the holes. Either way, doesn't matter. All right, and then just gonna squash it, push it, the teeth close to each other. This way it's gonna stay nice and won't move. Or you can push it the other way around, doesn't matter. Okay, so we're gonna install the other one. Okay, like we measured before. I mean, we marked it before. We have marks right here, little tiny openings. Just be careful, don't make a bigger hole than it's supposed to be. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on this little tiny square to make it more stable. So make an opening. Okay. Just be careful again. All right. I'm gonna put the washer on it. Oh, we didn't put the metal. It would be nice to put it from the side, inside. Find the holes. Okay. I didn't make a big enough hole, so I'll make a little bigger. Always better to make it bigger later on. Made a little tiny one. Okay. All right, now we're gonna put a washer on and a little tiny triangle. I mean square. All right, and then do the same thing. We're gonna push these little tiny teeth closer, make it sure it works. So now we're gonna turn it around and see we did a good job. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna measure, like I said before, 8.5 inches. 9.5 inches. Sorry. 9.5 inches. Nine and a half inches from the round edge. Find the middle. 4.5. It's just right here. Okay, so we're gonna make a mark there. What we're gonna do, we take the ribbon, put them on a half, find the middle, and find the middle. All right. We're gonna put the middle right on the mark. Just kind of ball it out. Eyeball it. Okay, we're gonna do put it in the middle. Just eyeball it. Put some pins and sew right across the ribbon. Okay, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna kind of pin the edge. This is the opening where we're gonna be flipping it over. We're just gonna pin it just to make sure we have the right length of the fabric. Actually, before we do, measure 13.5 inches and make a mark right there on each side. So now we can finish the pinning. What we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this end. I'll just make one more pin here. Pull this end toward the marks. Right here. We can pin it. Clips. Okay, we can take those pins out. This way we won't forget, because that's the way we're going to be flipping it over and we can get hurt. So what are we going to do? Make sure the ribbon stays in here, inside. Just be careful, don't sew it together. Don't sew it in. You know what? You can actually put it in this packet to make sure it's all in. We're not gonna sew it together. We're gonna pull the other end and pin the rest of it together. This side all over, we're just gonna leave this opening. That's the way we're gonna flip it over. Before you flip it over, actually, you have to trim those edges a little bit, as much as you can. Don't do it like I did. I flipped it over and I didn't like it, so I had to flip it over. It was kind of little hard to flip it over, so leave as much room for opening as much you feel comfortable with, because it took me a little time to flip it over. But anyway, just be careful, don't cut into the edge. Okay, we can trim a little bit here too. And here too. Okay, that should be okay. Now we can flip it over. Okay, so finally I flipped it over. Now what we have to do is close the opening here. So make sure you poke out the corners and everything. And we have to close the opening. So we're gonna pin the edge. Make sure we cannot see the lining from the outside. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're going to top stitch, we're going to top stitch around the edges, like a 1/4 inch allowance, and same thing over here, because since it has the stabilizer and everything, it's a little thicker, so the lining is kind of sticking out, so we have to top stitch it as well. So pin it all over, make sure the lining is not sticking out, it's kind of hidden. So we're gonna top stitch right here around the edges and all right here. Top stitch, just the edges, nothing in here. All right, all done. It's all top stitch. Now all we have to do is close it and make a bow. Let's just see how pretty it looks. There it is. All done. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial as much as I did. And so we have 2 bags from 1 skirt. Till next time, bye!